Hello everyone! Welcome back to Drawn by Annie channel. This is me, Annie, and I will be drawing for you today. Grab your tea, coffee and snacks and let's dive into today's video. Happy New Year! I welcome you in my very first video of the 2026 year, and I'm very glad to see you here with me again. And I'm very excited to start a new year with something new as well in my art. And I've gotten my hands onto something that I've been longing for so long, and now I finally have a chance to try it out. And that is Prismacolor Premier Color Pencils. They have been in my wish list for like forever, literally like maybe a few months or even years. I cannot even remember when I actually added this on my wish list, you know, but there was always something more important to buy and I never actually got a chance to buy them for myself. And I was actually secretly hoping that somebody from my friends or family are going to give them for me eventually, but it didn't happen. So I decided I would stop waiting and get them for myself on my own and try to blend them naturally into my existing art style and mediums that I use already. I'm thinking that they will work very well with alcohol-based markers, although I don't want to try going right into with them, and I'm just going to start normally like I usually do with all of my arts, and then try and implement the pencils wherever I feel like they can look good or will fit well, sort of thing. I don't know, I will just go with my gut here and try out different materials on the spread and see whatever fits well. I will try and implement in my future arts. So count this as a practice sketchbook spread, but also the one that is actually finishing this very sketchbook, because it's a last spread that I have left. So there's no any specific or special idea behind the doodles on this sketchbook spread. I just wanted to try and see how I can add more variety and texture with the pencils on top of the alcohol-based markers coloring. So yeah, this is kind of material study moment. So after enjoying their brand new look, I'm putting them aside and I'm starting my usual art process, which starts with the sketching, and then I'm landing the base colors with alcohol-based markers. On top of that, I'm going to go with my fine liner as a line art, but I also may try pencil line art and see if I like it or not, or if it looks complete. Because when I'm trying new line arts or colored liners or anything changing the look of the line art that I have already done, it always seems incomplete for me. So I don't know if I will be able to actually switch to the pencil line art forever, but I'm definitely going to give it a try and see for myself if I like it or not, because a lot of other artists are actually doing their line art with pencils and I really like how it looks. But whenever I try it myself, I feel like my art is incomplete and I have to follow the urge to actually fill the gaps where I feel like with the fine liner, and then after that I start feeling like everywhere needs to be added this kind of line art, and I end up still doing the line art with the fine liners. I'm not sure whether this is a habit or like my eyes cannot already see my own art without the line art that I'm so used to. I'm not sure. If you have any idea why is that happening to me, you can leave them in the comments and maybe this will help resolve this mystery. So for this sketchbook spread, I decided that I would feature my second persona original character, which is Silvia Argente. And the reason behind it is that her outfit is actually made of a shining clothing. So I wanted to have a chance to put a lot of highlights and see how the light pencils will look on a dark base color made with alcohol-based markers. And I needed to experiment with a pencil line art and see whether it will be contrast enough to actually make a visible impact on the overall look for the marker art. Especially with the darker designs, I find it quite challenging, because that's why I ended up using the fine liners and brush liners for the line art, because they are the only ones that could give this line weight variety to show the volume and also help with character readability, if that makes sense. And I also find them very nice to use when I need a mid-tone that I don't have with my alcohol-based markers, or I don't want to make too light of a highlight, if that makes sense. Because all of my highlight materials are mostly acrylic based, and also in the past I used a lot of gel pens to make the highlights. But since they're very bright, sometimes I don't need this much brightness because of the material that I'm trying to represent. So during the coloring process, I actually found a very nice way to shadow or highlight specific design elements and make some of them look a little shinier and the other ones actually look a little less shiny and also more textured. I really like how the pencils are adding this grainy texture to the artwork, because when I'm doing the coloring only with the markers, they are very clean, almost up to the point that they look like digital art, at least the way I use them. So having a medium that actually makes this a little more textured is very nice, and it adds variety to the eye and it adds a visual interest as well. So you kind of want to keep looking and exploring the different textures that are on the artwork. While working on the close-up eye, I wanted to also add more graininess and texture to the pupil and also the skin around, but I found that the skin and blush and shadows look very nice with added strokes by pencils, but the pupil doesn't look too much different, I guess because it's darker blue. So I will have to make another practice spread like this and see for other color palettes. Maybe the lighter pupil will look better and pencils will actually have more impact and visual interest to the lighter colors there. For the flowers, I tried the underpainting technique, quote unquote. Basically means that I'm putting the pencil strokes first and then going with the alcohol-based markers over and seeing the pencils from underneath, which adds subtle texture to the petals, you know. See, like there's this main point of mine that I like subtle changes. Like I notice the slightest change in my drawings and drawings of others, so I don't have to use like too much of those pencils to make a change for my brain, but I need an opinion from the side. So can you tell me, is there any difference at all when I'm using or not using the pencils? Because when I'm drawing, I kind of see every stage that I'm working on and I kind of keep it in my head and I'm trying to compare with the before and after, but basically the end viewer will not see the progress thing and will not have something to compare with. So I guess it's really hard to tell, but you can let me know down in the comments if you have seen any changes to the texture or visual interest, and does it look better or worse? For the crystal ball, I actually wanted to make it look a little more messy, so I went over with a lot of strokes with pencil and also added some shadows on the crystal itself, as well as some strokes on the crystal ball. And I really like the end result. Even though it doesn't look too messy, it still looks messier than usual, let's say. And I like the variety of mid-tones and shadows, and I also went same way with messiness with my markers, so they kind of have this synergy with each other. I guess I could have done more messiness with the line art as well, or more darker spots, because it looks pretty bright, but I kind of am happy with the final result here, so I'm just gonna leave it as is. And only one element on the sketchbook spread is colored only with the pencils without markers, which are the feathers. And the reason behind it, I wanted to see how light and how gradient of a color I can make. And I'm actually really happy with the softness of the core of the pencil, because I can really make it super light and barely visible, as well as make it very bright and very visible. So this is exactly what I was looking for in my pencil set, because a lot of pencils that I've used in the past, they are either too hard or they don't have enough pigment in them. I'm not sure what's the reason, but also one of the reasons that I hesitated to buy another pencil set, because I was afraid that I will just buy another set that is the same way as any other. But Prismacolor actually surprised me with the softness of the pencil core, so I'm very happy with the variety of the color that I can receive with just one pencil and varying the pressure of my hand. Because for the longest time in my art journey, I only used pencils actually. That was before the alcohol-based markers became popular, and there were many other types other than Copic markers that were super extremely expensive back then. They're still this way up until this time, but there is a lot of different brands that can be more affordable yet still have a similar good result. But before that, I was really only drawing and coloring with colored pencils, so I have a lot of experience using them, and it will be very fun to actually implement those skills into mixed medium arts. At least that is my end goal. So yeah, this was a very nice tryout and a perfect way to finish a sketchbook if you ask me. So I'm definitely going to use Prismacolor pencils to enhance the look of my future art. And here is the final look of the sketchbook spread. Even though it's just doodling around and trying out the new medium, I kind of like how it looks. And I thank you so much for joining me in this little video. I hope you enjoyed my art process as much as my little yapping and chatting. Let me know down in the comments if you also have Prismacolored pencils in your collection and if you like them or not and why. If you like my work and you want to support me, you can hit that like and subscribe button. Check out my other social media, and I hope to see you in my next video. Bye bye!